Okay, we'll get underway again with our work for session 3. So we're in term 2, week 2, session 3. So just going into your housing and design page from Canvas, and then to find the work for today, if you go into the term 2 planner and down to week 2, so this shows us we're in week 2, session 3, and that should take you straight to the session's work. So what we're really looking at today is so that you can understand again the tropical design principles. So we're designing to make sure that the climate or the buildings that we live in are comfortable without using mechanical or external heating and cooling. So if we're looking at tropical design, the key thing is going to be with trying to keep the building cool. So one of the most important things, as you can see here, is the shading. So it's important that we shade windows and any outdoor areas, because if you've got outdoor areas, particularly if they're made of things like concrete, they're going to heat up and radiate heat into the building potentially as well. The other thing that we want to shade is any thermal mass. So if you have, for example, a solid brick wall, then you would make sure that that's shaded, because if the sun hits that as it heats up, it's also going to radiate warm air. So we're trying to shade up any of those things. Obviously, the roof design can form excellent shading. Another thing could be trees, also an awning. So an awning is could be fabric, or it could be a harder building material that just comes out over a section of the house. So often they might be just above a window or above a door, or might pull out from the wall to provide shade for an outdoor eating area. And a pergola is usually just an open structure. So for example, if this was continued, so just these structures here were continued along that wall, so it's open at the top, just this framework, then we describe those as pergolas. But you can Google those and have a look. So if we look at this first roof, roof 1, and you might want to do a quick sketch of that, so you can pause the video and do a quick sketch to show how the roof here is shading the windows, and also they've extended that with this is like a type of pergola, I guess, that comes out to shade more that balcony area. On this one here, they've just used a simple, I guess it's dried palm leaves to provide shade again to those windows for that area there. And then this wider eave around the bottom is providing shade to the lower area. This one here is a fantastic example of shading in that the roof is extended beyond the building, which is inside here, and also they've got some slats which would also provide shading. So there is a little area here that you can click on and go through its Architizer, I think, or Arc Daily, which are two really good websites, and there is a house that's really cool in that it shows you lots of different ways that you can go into that. So by clicking on this, and it is Arc Daily, I'll just move that up there so you can see the example of this house. Again, lots of extended indoor outdoor areas, and you can click through the various images and that will show you, you can see how well shaded that is, but really good ventilation, which is reinforcing what we were talking about yesterday with the windows. Now, one of the things I did talk about was also that ability to be able to provide cross ventilation. So here you can see that there's a room, but the air can still circulate in this top area here. So whereas in a cool climate, you would take the wall all the way to the roof, in this one here, you can see the walls don't go all the way to the ceiling. so therefore you can get that air circulating. So you can just flick through these and find as well some really cool things where areas can be ventilated. This potentially is thermal mass, as you know, with the blockwork and the cement, which if we can shade it, it can actually work to help to cool that area. So as long as the sun is not on that, then it can work quite well to help cool. You can see again these big shaded outdoor areas which are going to provide lots of shade to that area. Okay, so to head back to that should give you lots of ideas of how roofs can shade. What I want you to do now is to have another go at the perspective drawing. So you can go through this video and stop it whenever you want. And the reason I want you to do this one for a perspective is that you can extend this here and modify it. Once you've got the basic perspective, that you can modify it to make this long, and then this can be your north facing wall. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. Before you go into the video, it's doing the same things with the vanishing points. So the vanishing points would be over here somewhere, and this is our central line, and then you've decided that closest wall to you or closest edge to you is this one, and they all show you how to put a roof on. So just go nice and slowly with that, and then what I want you to do once you've practiced it is to have a go at modifying it. So here's an example that I've done, and I might just pop it underneath here so you can perhaps see it more clearly. I'll just go onto the studio view. So I started just with that basic design. So if you can see my vanishing, my horizontal line would have been through here, and then my vanishing point is here and over here. So the bit that I wanted you to practice is you can see how just that was the basic design that they have done, but I have extended the roof line down to add shading to this area here. So if this was the north, then you can see that I need to be able to provide, as the sun goes up overhead, then I need to provide shading to these windows. On this side here, and this could be the north or the south, it doesn't really matter. So the east or the west, I've added some awnings. So to actually, you can see here, shade to shelter those windows. I've used the louver windows to maximise the opening, and you might even just have a look at some of the annotations. Now I've raised the building off the ground, so that's relatively easy to do. And I've also added this little shelter, or another awning if you like, or an outdoor area on the south, which would be shaded. You can see I've added a fan, and often in tropical areas you do see fans under verandas because that helps with the air movement. I've also shown how you can simply draw a few trees so that you can increase that shading. So what I want you to do is just practice today having a go at that. Now I've made the roof, this would be a single story house, but by having a high roof, so the ceiling wouldn't be down here, it would go right up into the point. That allows the heat to escape. And I've added some vents to the roof as well. So if you imagine the air's coming in here, then it could actually escape from the building at this top venting areas there. The other thing that I would do inside the building, I would add some fans. So if I was in the building, I would draw some fans like that so that you could show how we're going to keep the air moving. I would need to add windows to both sides of my building so that I can get that cross ventilation from both areas. So I hope that makes it a little clearer for you of what this diagram's all about. So really what I want you to do today is to have a look at roof shapes for tropical areas and how you might incorporate those into your design, and then to spend the rest of your session sketching those designs and practicing drawing in perspective, or you can draw in elevations as well. This one here is a more modern diagram rather than this is probably more of a traditional Queenslander. But again, if you want to have a look at that, then that might just help you with your perspective drawing as well. Okay, so once you've had a chance to go through all that and just practice with developing your drawing skills, what I want you to do at the end of the session is just to click onto this bottom section and you'll be able to upload your sketches so that I can see how you're going into this area here. So that's our session for today. Hopefully that will get you going and get you feeling more confident in your sketching work. If you do have any questions, remember, just drop me an email or send me a message and I'll call you back and talk you through some of those things.